Hello learners, this is Samrado from Lomos Labs, and in today's tutorial, I'm going to be talking about the different modify tools and their applications in Revit. Among the last 17 modify tools, in the last video we had covered 7 of them. In this video, we will be looking at the rest of the 10 modify tools and their applications. Before I start this video, I would like to ask you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. So let's begin. Let's start with the scale tool. The shortcut of it is RE, which is resize. So first let me select this element and then let's try to scale it. So after selecting the element, let's go to the modify and select the scale tool. As I do that, you'll see on the top ribbon I have two options, one is graphical and the other one is numerical. First let's see how Revit graphically scales this element down. So as I hover my mouse, you can see the wall center line is highlighted, and apart from that there is this dotted line which is around this element. So it is showing the existing scale of this element. So let me first select one end of this center line and the other end of the center line, and you can see as I move my mouse there is another dotted profile which basically moves along the mouse. So that is trying to tell me how my element is getting resized. So if I move my mouse down, it's becoming smaller and smaller, and I can see the distance as well, the size of the element as well. If I move it up, the resizing will basically increase. So first let me scale it up. As I click on that, it's going to increase the scale. Similarly, if I click on scale one more time and let me scale it down, so first I'll select one point of the wall line and then the other point, and then let me this time scale it down. As I move my mouse, you can see the wall is getting scaled down. And since it had the other elements with it, like the window and the door, that's why I'm getting an error. So I'm just going to click on delete instances and let that be. Now let's see how scale numerical works. I'll click on numerical, and then Revit is going to allow me to type in a value. Now let me type in 2, and then I will just click on the element. As I do that, the size will increase to the double, and that's how the numerical scale works. Let's move on to the next tool, that is split element. The shortcut for split element is SL. Now let's see how this works. So first I'll click on this element, and you can see my cursor has turned into a knife. As I hover it along the wall here, it's going to show a distance, plus it's going to show where my division is going to be. So all I'll have to do is just take a look at the distance and click on the wall. As I do that, you can see this wall and this are separate elements, and that way we basically split our wall. Right after that, we have something called split with cap. So let's try this out as well. So first I'll click on split with cap, and again you can see my cursor has turned into a knife. Now as I click on the wall here, you can see along with splitting, Revit has also added a gap in between. Now we can modify the gap as well. You can see right now the joint gap is 100. Now let me type in 50 and let's try to see what it does. So as I click here, you can see the gap is a little smaller. The next element that we will be looking at is array. The shortcut is AR. Let's see how this works. First, I'll click on this element and then I'll go to modify and I'll click on array. Now I'm going to choose the wall along the center line and I'm going to move it ahead on this side. I can also type in a value. So let me type in a value of 2000 and I'll press enter. Now you would see an array has been created and right now it shows a number 2 and Revit is allowing me to edit it. So now if I type in 10 and I press enter, Revit is going to copy that element 10 more times, basically 10 in total, which will have same distances from each other. So basically the distance between this wall and this wall here is 2000. We can also change the elements here, the number of elements here. So as I click on it, I can also change it to 15 and I can increase it and also decrease it, let's say 6, and that's the result. Now as I click on the element and again if I click on array, you'd see we have an option which says move to second. So the current option that we saw was move to second, and we will see how move to last works. So first I'm going to check the box of move to last, and now let me select this wall and let me add a value, let's say 10,000, and I'll press enter. Now as I edit the value here of the number, Revit is going to copy the wall in between. So this way we can also create an array from the first and the last and have the elements equally placed in between as well. The following tool is trim or extend to corner. The shortcut is TR. Now this is a very useful tool, but it gets a little confusing when it comes to the direction. So let's see how this works. First I'm going to select this tool here, and now let me trim these two walls. So if I click on this wall here and if I click on this wall on this side, if I hover my mouse on this side, you can see a dotted line is seen. So basically Revit is trying to show me that that's how it's going to get trimmed. That's the direction. So if I click on it, that part, that extra part which was on this side has gotten trimmed. Now let me go back to how it was. Now let me select this side of the wall, and again if I select this wall, you can see the dotted line basically falls on the other side than the previous one. Now here Revit is trying to show that if I trim it, this side, the other side won't have the element. Now let's move on to the next element, that's trim or extend single element. Now let's see what's the difference between trim or extend and trim or extend single element. So first, let me click on this tool here and let me choose this wall. And I'm going to choose this wall here. So you saw the difference. It didn't clear out this extra element that is here. If we had used trim, so let me use it one more time here. So trim extend to corner, it's going to give me a corner like this. So that's the difference between trim, extend, single element, or trim or extend to corner. Moving on, we have trim or extend multiple elements. Now let's see how this works. I'm going to click on this element. I'll choose this wall where I want to trim all the other elements too. And then I'm going to do a selection of multiple elements. As I do that, all the elements that I've selected will get trimmed along the wall. Similarly, if I select this element one more time and let me select all these walls on this side, it's going to get trimmed along this wall as well. Although it gave me a warning because these walls don't have this extended wall, so it didn't get trimmed here. The next tool that we will be learning now is our pin tool. Shortcut of it is PN. Let's see how it works. First, I'm going to select this element and then see I can move it. But if I add a pin tool here, you can see the element is pinned here. I won't be able to move it now if I want to. See, Revit is giving me an error saying cannot move pinned element. The next tool is Unpin, and the shortcut is UP. So I can click on this element, and if I go to modify and if I just click on this tool here, Unpin, this element will be unpinned and I will be able to move it freely. But sometimes I don't even have to go to modify and unpin it. So let me show you how this works. Now the element is selected here. If I just pin it, and let me just click on this pin icon here. If I click on it, it's unpinned now. Now see, I will be able to move it free. The last tool that we have is delete. So select your element, go to modify and click on the delete tool here. The shortcut of it is DE, and it will get deleted. So that was all about our modify tools, all 17 of them and their applications.
Thank you for watching this video. Please like, subscribe and comment below to let us know your thoughts on the video. Also comment your suggestions for the upcoming videos, and do follow us on Instagram for more tips and tricks.